So my name is Sonda Eunus. My company is Leading Management Solutions. We do marketing and business development. We do a lot of business networking events. We also do event planning and marketing. We work mostly with the healthcare industry, but we are now also branching out and we're working with other businesses as well. So that's my background as far as my own company. I got into the healthcare industry because I became a practice manager for my father's pediatric practice. My parents are right there. My father is Dr. Eunus. We own Premier Pediatrics, which is a pretty large pediatric practice here in Ocala and surrounding cities. So I'm going to use that as an example for a lot of what I'm going to be speaking about to keep things simple. So again, there are 5 things that you need in order to stand out from your competitors, in my opinion. I'm sure that there's more than 5, but this is a good start. So first of all, you need to know who your ideal client is. If you don't know who you're marketing to, it's going to be very hard for you to market to them, right? So how do you narrow down who your ideal client is? As an example, my father serves children. We serve children from 0 to 21 years of age. That's one filter, right? Now, how do we go even deeper? For us, our main practice is in Ocala, so when we're advertising for that practice, we're going to narrow it down to Ocala, right? If we're doing Facebook marketing, or we're doing Google marketing, or we're doing ads in print magazines, we're going to be looking at the ones that are going to be reaching people in Ocala. Now, we can still narrow that down more. What about if we say we want to target people that are 15 or 20 miles away from our actual practice address? Those people may be closer to the practice, so there is a greater chance that they're going to come to us instead of driving all the way across town, right? So now, parents in Ocala are our client, but how do we go even deeper? Who brings your kids to the office? It's most of the time going to be the mom, right? So we can narrow it down and we can actually market to moms. And we can form our creatives and our graphics that would be more attractive to women as opposed to men, because they're the ones whose attention we want to grab, right? Now we can bring that down even deeper. We want to think about where will we get the greatest lifetime value? Which clients will bring the most revenue to us, right? So we want to narrow that down. Again, we serve a large Medicaid population, and Medicaid actually requires babies and children from 0 to 4 years of age to come to the practice over 20 times just because they have to get their well checks, right? And we as a practice get graded. If we don't do it, our quality scores go down. So it's kind of a win-win because this is something that these patients have to do, right? So for us, even though we serve 0 to 21 years of age, we really want to focus on the moms that just gave birth, because those moms are going to have a longer time for them to be able to bring their kids to us, right? So those are the ones that we want to catch. So already going from parents, we went down to moms in Ocala, or 20 miles radius from our practice, who just gave birth, right? So that's a much smaller audience that we now have, and now whatever marketing budget we may have that we're going to be spending on paid advertising, we're going to target all of that money into reaching that audience, right? Because we have a greater chance of converting them as clients, and we also have a greater lifetime value coming from them, as opposed to maybe if we get a child that's 15 years of age or 18 years of age. We're still going to see them. We absolutely love those patients as well. But when we're doing paid marketing, that's where we want to put our money, because we want to optimize that budget to get the greatest return on our investment. So you have to, first of all, realize who your ideal client is, who's going to bring you the most revenue over the lifetime of them being a client, and where those people hang out, right? So we're going to advertise in Facebook mommy groups. We're going to advertise in journals or magazines that go out to families, right? We're going to be doing Google marketing, Facebook marketing targeted to specifically that audience because you can set those targets. And we have a great speaker coming up this afternoon who's going to be speaking more about that. She's a Google expert as well as a Facebook advertising expert, so she will go much deeper into that. But what you need to know is who your ideal client is, who it is that you want to reach. And in your bags, you have a little worksheet where we're asking you all of those questions. So when you get home, start thinking about that. Fill that out. That will help you, right? So now, the second thing is, we know who our ideal client is. We're trying to stand out from our competitors. We need to know who our competitors are, right? How do we find out? So to continue that example, I will go on Google or whatever search engine you guys use, and I'm going to type in pediatrician Ocala. And I'm going to see who pops up. Now, I'm going to look at their websites. I'm going to see what services they're offering. I'm going to see what insurances they're taking. I'm going to see what hours they're open, where their locations are if they have multiple locations. I'm also going to see if they've got testimonials on their websites. I'm going to go and see if they have any reviews, whether it's on Google or Facebook. We want to hear what those patients that they're serving are saying, because then if you see that there's something that patients are loving, you can implement that in your practice. If you see that there is something that patients are hating, just don't do it, right? Steer away from it. So that's why it's very important to know your competitors. Now, once you know your competitors, you want to think about how will you stand out from them, right? So start thinking about the one thing that will make you different, right? It could be anything. You can get as creative as possible, but you want something that people will remember. So that one thing, if you really commit to it, can be excellent customer service, an amazing customer experience, right? You've got great staff, they smile, they know everyone by name, they're doing everything right, right? The experience is simple, the patients are not having to wait. That's a great customer experience. We're working on getting there, right? But that can be your one thing in your business. You want to know, but if that's what you pick, you really have to commit to it. You have to spend resources to make sure that this experience is being achieved. Because if that's not possible, you're going to need to pick something else, right? So what other things? And just to backtrack, as an example, I love my bank. First Federal Bank of Florida, there's a shout out. They are amazing, and here's why. Every single time that I walk into that bank, they know me by name. All the tellers are going to say, "Hi, Sonda, how are you? How's your family? How was your event?" Because they know I spend time at that bank telling them my whole personal history. They know. They have popcorn, always. They have coffee. So I will, every time that I go to my bank, go inside, and I'm going to talk to my friends, and I'm going to eat their coffee, drink their coffee, and eat their popcorn. They've got a drive-through that's open even longer hours than their reception desk, but I still go inside every time. And one time I went through the drive-through, and the teller walked up to the drive-through and said, "Are you being lazy today?" And I said, "I usually just come in to see you guys. I'm just in a rush today." But that's an amazing customer experience, right? So that's one thing that you can do. Another thing that you can do, if all of your competitors are open 9 to 5, why don't you open extended hours? If all of your competitors are offering the same services, why don't you think of another service that you can offer that will go well with the services that you're already offering? So to switch things up, and I was being creative this morning, what if you are a photographer that specializes in doing professional headshots? What if you partner with a makeup artist who is also looking for exposure, who is also looking to grow their business, and you guys work together in one space? And when people are coming up to your office to take a headshot, that makeup artist will make them look good. Wouldn't you, if you need a headshot, go to that place? If it's included in the service, maybe you'll pay a little bit more, but you will know that you're going to get an amazing headshot, right? So that's just one way. You can think of, who can I strategically partner with that will help me improve my customer experience, right? So that's just another way. A huge thing that will also set you apart from your competitors is your personal brand. And personal branding is something that is very important, but sometimes overlooked, many times overlooked by business owners. Many business owners like to say, this is my business name, here is my logo, here is my website, and they do everything through their business. So people know their business name if they're doing a good job, or maybe they don't. But how do you stand out? It's really gonna be with your personal branding. People want to know the face behind the website or the logo, right? So you wanna really just form really great connections in the community, and that will be the cheapest and one of the most effective ways that you can grow your business. So when you're doing personal branding, you want to think about, why is this something that works? When someone asks you if you know a dentist, who do you think of? Do you think of the 5 dentists that are listed on Google, or do you think of the one that you see at every networking event that you go to? You're actually going to feel like you have an advantage because you actually know who to recommend. And you're going to say, yes, I know a great dentist, because you see that person. You see them regularly. You know them. You have a connection with them. You can text them and say, hey, I've got a patient for you, and they're going to be happy. And that's another thing. You want to think about appreciation marketing. And that's kind of a fun concept, but it goes hand in hand with your personal branding. So when your personal branding strategies are in effect, you always want to think about, how do I become more likable? As funny as that sounds, right? But people like people that are friendly. People like people that are authentic, honest, who do not try to hide behind false pretenses. If their business does not offer that, or if they don't know something, they will say, I'm sorry, I don't do that, but I can connect you with someone who does it well. You know what I mean? Or, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that question, but I will find out and I will get right back to you. You always, always want to be honest and authentic. People will trust you more. Now, another huge thing about personal branding, you want to become a connector in the community. You want to know as many people as you can, and you want to be able to then form great connections when you meet someone that you think, I've got to introduce him to this other person. These people are really going to help each other and help their business grow, because they may be serving the same audience but providing completely different services. But they're marketing to the same audience. Those people need to connect. And guess what? If you are that person that's making that connection, more than likely they will keep you in mind. They will be very grateful to you, especially if that becomes a great connection. And then when they meet someone that needs to be connected to someone that is you, they're going to think about you and they're going to do the same thing. So one very simple way that I found to do this, I meet a lot of people at my networking events, at the other networking events that I go to here locally. And one thing that is really underappreciated and underused is the professional introduction email. And what that is after you go to a networking event, and you meet someone new, and you say, I've got the perfect person that I need to introduce you to because you will benefit from that connection. You go home and you send an email, and you put in the email address of the person you're connecting and the email address of the person you're connecting with together, and then you say, hey, Aaron, please meet Jeff. Jeff does so-and-so, Aaron does so-and-so. I believe that you guys would truly benefit from connecting, from having a conversation. Please connect with each other. And then guess what? Both of them are going to be very grateful to you. They're going to connect, and then in the future, they're going to be thinking about who they can connect you with. So when you're networking, you kind of want to leave behind or set aside for a little while the idea of your ideal client. And here's why. When you're networking, you're not only going after your ideal client. If I'm networking for Premier Pediatrics and I'm at a networking event, I can meet a mom who has 1 or 2, 10 kids if I'm lucky, but that's pretty much where they're going to tap out. What if I meet a pediatric dentist? Or what if I meet an OBGYN doctor? And those people, if I form warm connections with them and we become friends, will send referrals to our practice for as long as they're practicing and they're seeing patients. And they see patients every single day if they're working full-time, right? So that is an endless source of referrals for you. So you have to think big. It's not necessarily, when you're networking, about connecting with your ideal client. Honestly, you never know who knows who. So whenever you're at a networking event, don't be one of those people where you find out what someone does and you think, that's not for me, and you say, okay, thank you, nice to meet you, and you walk away. You want to find out what they do. You want to listen. You want to truly care about what they do. And you still want to form that connection. There is no such thing as too many connections or no such thing as a bad connection. Because even if you meet someone a year ago and they don't need your services or they don't know anyone that needs your services, but then all of a sudden they come across someone that does need your services. Pediatric practice, their sister gives birth. All of a sudden they need a pediatrician. You never know. You want to form as large a network as possible. You want to be a friendly person that people come to. You want to be a connector. You want to be likable, honest, authentic. And that's truly how you build your personal brand. And with your personal brand, sometimes it's even going to become stronger than your business brand. What if, for some reason, your business idea does not work as well as you wanted it to, right? Or what if you want to rebrand and all of a sudden people don't recognize your brand? It's incredibly important to build a business brand. Larry did an amazing presentation just now. But if for any reason your business brand changes or evolves, you still want to keep your audience because they know you, right? So now, even if you go and you start another 5, 10 businesses, you will still carry over that same audience and that same network that you've been building for all of the businesses that you have. So that is truly your biggest way to stand out, is by being the person that everyone knows, the person that everyone sees, the person that everyone trusts. And guess what else is going to happen when you're always out there and you're forming those connections? That's how you generate word of mouth, right? And when someone is looking for a service provider, first thing they do is they're going to ask their friends or their family, who do you know? They're going to trust that referral a lot more than if they're just going on Google and finding the different lists and then just going to someone, right? Reading testimonials, reviews. Sure, that's a great way, but guess what? Angry clients write reviews. Much more than happy clients do, right? So you don't want to be reliant on those either. You want to know someone that you trust knows this person or has used those person's services or knows them personally. And you want to be that person that will be the first person people think of when someone asks them if they know the services, who's providing the services that they're seeking.